Is going to be an interesting afternoon for Melbourne Victory as we look to the stands here at Amy Park for two sides that certainly need to find consistency in their performance. For Melbourne Victory, it's been a case of they win one, they lose one, and that consistency in performance hasn't been there. And for Adelaide United, a team that had so many expectations coming into the season, having made their second finals campaign last year, new coach this year, a lot of familiar faces, but not the same results they're producing as they did last year. Can they find a consistency up against a really tough opponent in Melbourne Victory this afternoon? As we see here, these sides getting ready for, it's Isabel Hodgson, leader of this Adelaide United team. A lot of experience, a lot of veterans in this squad, but a lot of new faces as well. They are without one of their stars this afternoon in Fiona Wirtz. So what can they produce in the attacking sense? They've only scored 3 goals so far in this campaign. So that's where they've really lacked the success, and defensively at times there have been a few gaps, as we see Melbourne Victory coming out as well. A team that when they're at their best, they're really, really hard to beat. Some new signings this season, the likes of Rihanna Policina, Kennedy White, they've been impressive to start their lives at the Victory. But last week was really disappointing. The response from Kayla Morrison talking about it, she was not pleased. Seeing the likes of Sienna Teixeira there, Jess Young, a lot of young, inexperienced players on the bench, but a lot of potential there as well. Ella O'Grady. Main man there, Jeff Hopkins, coach of Melbourne Victory, one of the most successful coaches in this competition. A lot of experience. He's trying to duck out the camera, but somebody should have told him, Jeff, the camera's straight down. Couldn't have ducked out of the path of it as both these sides head out onto the ground. It's been a very, very long time since Adelaide United have won here away to Melbourne Victory. It was all the way back in 2015. So this is not a great fixture for them historically, but they'll be up against this Melbourne Victory side where Jeff Hopkins, he's making 2 changes to the side that fell to Canberra. Taylor Ray is going to start for the first time this season alongside Laura Pickett, who comes into the 11. Kennedy White and Rihanna Policina as always leading the line. But it's a welcome return for Nikki Flannery. She's had a hamstring injury that's derailed the start of her campaign, so can we see her make her first start in the 25-26 campaign here at Amy Park? Wouldn't she love that? A really experienced player to bring on if you need. There is Kayla Morrison, captain of Melbourne Victory. Last week, speaking post-match, very, very upset with this team, letting in some goals where I don't think she necessarily felt they gave away lots of great chances, but when they did, Canberra United were able to put them away. She's expecting more consistency from this side, and as a leader who's won in finals before, knows what it takes, I'm sure the message was loud and clear this week talking to her teammates. For Adelaide United, looking at their starting 11, there's been a bug that's been going around the Adelaide United camp. So there's been a few changes. Matilda McNamara is out with an illness, and then we see Emily Condon drop to the bench. There's no Fiona Wirtz, as I mentioned. She's travelled to the UK to be there for her twins' wedding. So we see Paige Zoyce come into the lineup for her first start for Adelaide, up against her former side. Lara Gooch could also make her first start for Adelaide United after an off-season move from the Newcastle Jets. So some familiar faces, some notable absentees for Adelaide United, but certainly a stacked squad. And one of those players who's certainly capable of creating magic is Erin Healy, right there with that pink headband. Only 1 goal so far this season. She scored 8 goals last year in the Ninja A-League, runners-up in the Julie Dolan Award. We know the creative hub that she can be for this team. Can they find her the ball in central areas so she can link up with the likes of Chelsea Dorber? We'll have to wait and see. There'll be a lot of pressure on Erin Healy this afternoon to create for this Adelaide United side. There is Jeff Hopkins. Post-match last week against Canberra, you saw him talking to that squad. He's very, very disappointed in the way his side performed in key moments. They're certainly looking to bounce back and find themselves that form and consistency that we expect from Melbourne Victory, a side that we expect to be in finals on a regular basis. And there's our referee this afternoon, Isabella Mosson, assistant referees Danielle Anderson, Daphne Gunaris, and fourth official, Caitlin Williams. And there's Theo Tsunas, who's the new head coach for Adelaide this season, saying this is a game that this side can certainly bounce back for after that 3-1 loss to Brisbane Roar last weekend. They have the squad to do it. We saw them perform last season. They need to translate it this year before it starts slipping away from them on this league ladder. They're second bottom at the moment. And this is an Adelaide squad. When you looked at it before the season started, there's no way you would have expected that. Paige Zoyce, what a feeling it must be. Girl from Victoria, played for Melbourne Victory, her childhood club, made the move in the off-season to get more game time at Adelaide United, and she's getting her first ever start up against her former team. Not too far away from getting things going at Amy Park this afternoon. Just waiting for the final sort of go. Rachel Lowe and Melbourne Victory will get things underway. And we're underway here at Amy Park. I'm lucky enough to be joined in the commentary booth by football expert Alicia Ferguson. Ish, a big game this afternoon.
Yeah, huge game. As Kayla Morrison said about that consistency with Melbourne Victory, so I'm looking forward to seeing how they approach this. I like the fact that Jeff's actually pushed Rachel Lowe a little bit further forward. I think it's really great. Taylor Ray can just kind of sit in front of that back three and protect them defensively. So Adelaide have got a big job to do.
They do have a big task against them this afternoon. And I mentioned Taylor Ray. It's, coming here after being with Central Coast Mariners. She's been successful at Sydney FC. We know she's so successful defensively and just right in front of that back line. But an attacking opportunity for Victory early on. Cut right across the box and just cleared by Isabella Hodgson before Sophia Sakalis could have made it.
Well, early statement of intent from the Victory. I love seeing that they've got three players in the box for that cross-in. Kennedy White going near post, Rachel Lowe in the central as well. Some really positive attack early on.
It's going to be Alana Jancevski to take this corner. Typically on set-piece duties for Melbourne Victory. Know how successful they can be from these opportunities. High delivery, deep. Morrison there gets the header back across. Still swirling around. Morrison gets a boot to it. Out to Policina, who tees up from long range. And an early save required from Claudia Jenkins. Still finally finding its way out of play.
Well, strong start. Love seeing this from Rihanna Policina. We know her quality on the ball, even from distance. Technique there was beautiful. Ball just bounced up for her. She didn't try and hit it too hard, just made sure that her contact was clean.
Jancevski. Low, picked off by Hodgson. Jancevski. Against Adriana Taranto. They'll be doing a lot of defending, you'd imagine, Adelaide. What's the key, Ish, to absorbing pressure and then kind of picking your spots in a game where you're expecting to be sitting a long time?
It's staying connected and compact, Picua, and also just staying switched on. When you don't have the ball for long periods of time, it's actually maintaining that level of concentration and just putting in the hard yards, trying to close up those gaps, which is actually tiring. It's far more fatiguing when you don't have the ball. Football's much easier when you've got possession and you can actually control the tempo.
How wide they go. Pass a little bit behind Healy, but she's able to make it work. Play and go back out to Emily Hodgson if she can keep it in play. Hodgson still finding an angle. Cross able to get through. Jancevski right where she needs to be. And a long-range effort from Taranto. And that will go.
Well, lovely positive play here from Hodgson on the left. Started with Erin Healy actually turning, facing forward, playing that ball into the wide area for Emily Hodgson to run onto and get across into the box. That's exactly what Adelaide need to do. You see they're pressing high here, which I really like. Trying to win that ball back in the Melbourne Victory defensive third.
Wonder what's going through Jeff Hopkins' mind early in this game. Changes he will need to make as this game progresses. Healy. able to control it, but able to be won back by Zoe Tolland, who's come back into the matchday squad in the starting 11. Jancevski. It's interesting each to see a player like Alana Jancevski. So much of her time, her football career has been spent up top, you know, as a winger or as a midfielder. But Jeff Hopkins has kind of said, you know what, I think you could be a versatile fullback, and she's done quite well in that position.
Yeah, Jeff did that as well with, actually it might have been Jeff or another coach, Mike Mulvey, with Elise Cullen-Wright, who started life as a striker and ended up as a left back and then as a holding midfielder.
Healy, can she turn? Looks for the pass, so often she does. Hodgson cutting it across the ground, trying to find Chelsea Daw, but not able to do it that time. Cleared away.
There's definitely a little bit of space on that left-hand side. I like the intent, trying to pick out a player rather than just put the ball into an area. Looking for Chelsea Dorber. It was a busy 18-yard box as well, and I think that's definitely something. Jeff is all about defence. He's a defender by trade, and so he would have been really disappointed to concede those 3 goals and the manner that they conceded the 3 goals last week. He wasn't happy after the game. Kayla Morrison wasn't happy after the game either, and rightfully so.
It's accountability that they're looking for in this squad, and it's a big reason why a team like Melbourne Victory have been so successful. Those high standards they set for themselves. Taranto barging her way through. Got some numbers in the box and cleared away by Bunge. Furphy dropping very deep to collect it and running away from Hodgson. Eventually cut out by Holly Murray. A little bit sloppy here from Adelaide, giving possession back to Victory. It's a very frantic pace to start this game off. It's the first kind of moments where 1 or 2 passes have been flowing for either side. As Claudia Jenkins just comes out and clears the danger.
Yeah, really good level of intensity and intent from both teams. They've both come off the back of conceding 3 goals last week. Adelaide particularly, they've conceded 7 goals in 4 games, so defensive structure and compactness is something that they really need to work on. But as you said earlier, in the build-up procure, actually creating those chances for Erin Healy. She's a goal scorer, but you have to get the ball to her.
Policina, and immediately fouled by Adriana Taranto.
Yeah, it was actually probably just an unlucky touch from Policina. Ended up getting away with it there. Drew the foul from Taranto. Jancevski lining up the ball. This is a nice angle for a left footer. Quite far out, but Melbourne Victory are really strong on set pieces. Jancevski really should be trying to whip that ball as quickly as possible into the far post, hoping for those attacking players to run onto it.
2 players over the ball who are capable of scoring from this range. Policina looks to tee it up, and there's Kayla Morrison charging in late.
That, I think, is a huge miss. I was wrong there. Policina did that in-swinger to the back post. Kayla Morrison was the only player there. Just as it bounced up, it skidded up and away, and she wasn't able to direct her header back on target. But that's a big chance for Melbourne Victory, and exactly what Kayla Morrison was talking about last week. They were creating chances, but they have to be more clinical.
Absolutely. Really great run from Kayla Morrison, but just couldn't redirect it back goalward. Bunge. Murray. Able to bring it down. Looks long and misses everybody. Taylor Ray able to drop in, pick the pass, allow them to help them build up play. Doesn't get them that far, but it just gets them out of that rut of just newborn not knowing exactly what to do. To take a look at that shot again.
Yeah, it was a great ball in by Policina. Didn't seem like anyone else read the trajectory of the ball. Kayla Morrison, you see that a lot, the delivery from Victory to that far post from corners. That one again, using Kayla Morrison's stature and also how imposing she is and how good she is in the air. I think she'll be disappointed she wasn't at least able to get that header on target.
Absolutely. Zoyce. Tonkin. Murray. Just getting a little bit trapped for the moment, and Victory able to regain possession. Bunge. Timely interception. Taranto. Now Zoe Toland. Not that many options. Clear cut further in front of her, so elects to go. The short pass to Zoyce. Now out to Tonkin. And immediately giving it off to Rihanna Policina. Policina still hunger and intent. Almost the look of the bounce would have gone her way. One up against Jenkins. Furphy. Way to fight with two Adelaide United players.
I think it's really important in their build-up play that Adelaide just try and control the tempo a little bit more and have a bit more patience, giving away that ball, a straight ball in midfield for Rihanna Policina just to intercept and then start a quick counter-attack. Got to be very, very careful. Victory here, quite happy to stay in their mid-block, not really keen on having to go chasing or doing a high press, wanting to stay nice and compact and just keeping the distances between each other nice and close.
Toland. Hodgson. Not a lot of space up ahead. Just blocking everything. It's taking Adelaide a really long time to build up. Hodgson. And fired it out to Healy. Second effort does. Toland. Now to Zoyce. Just really about patience at the moment for Adelaide. There's nothing obvious. But Victory applying the pressure. And it just felt like it was inevitable, Ish.
Yeah, I just think Adelaide, Victory is set up really well. They're set up, they're organised, they've always been defensively strong, and they're just allowing Adelaide to make the decisions and make the mistakes. So I think for Adelaide, they're a little bit static. Victory are quite happy for them just to build up play around the back, but they need to try and move the Victory players, which means their midfield needs to have a bit more movement. There's a little bit of, they're a little bit static at the moment, which just means it's easy. You can almost cover two players and just defend a space rather than having to apply pressure. And then Adelaide are the ones that are giving the ball away, really under not a lot of pressure.
And it's an interesting midfield that Adelaide have gone with today, with Adriana Taranto, Paige Zoyce, and Erin Healy. Now, Zoyce is typically a 6, can play an 8, but is a more defensive-minded midfielder, and Adriana Taranto can also be quite defensive at times. So Erin Healy, a lot of that creation is up to her.
Absolutely. I think first and foremost, when you concede 3 goals and when you've been struggling and in the manner that you've been conceding them, you want to get your defensive structure right. So maybe having those 2 sitting players rather than a bit more creativity, even just for the first 10, 15 minutes, see how Melbourne Victory apply themselves to the game. But first and foremost, I think I would be wanting the team to stay nice and compact and making sure that we don't concede early, because then it's easier to build into the game and build that momentum.
Already early discussions between Isabella Moss and Holly Furphy there alongside Hodgson. Sorry, Chelsea Dorber. Pickett with the throw in. We're able to get her head to it. Fight between Kennedy White and Ella Tonkin. That'll be an interesting battle all afternoon. Kennedy White, 5 goals to start life at the Melbourne Victory. And when you're replacing someone like Emily Gilney, it's nice to have a player like that, isn't it?
Yeah, she's got plenty of pace. Very direct play. She's scored a couple of goals. I know that goal was given to Emma Robers last week as an own goal, but she's been doing really well when Holly Furphy or one of the other Melbourne Victory players is wide, making the run into the near post and just trying to clip it around the corner. I've been impressed with that side of her game. I think she would have been really disappointed with that first half chance last week. She was in such a good position, 6-yard box. Ball went about 10 yards over the goal. And it's not the quality that we have seen from her, but she's in the right position. She's creating chances, and I think we're going to see a lot more goals from her as the season progresses.
Morrison. Under pressure from Chelsea Dorber, has to retreat. There's numbers surrounding her, and Courtney Newborn able to help her out. Now Policina, can they turn and go quickly here? Bunge. Pickett. Back to Bunge. And Erin Healy applying that pressure, trapping Victory in their defensive third.
Yeah, Erin Healy and Chelsea Dorber as well, just putting lots and lots of pressure on Kayla Morrison as well, trying to push on, keep them locked in as far up the field as possible.
Hodgson poking it into space. So Dorber's going to reach it first. Got Hodgson in support.
You can hear Jeff Hopkins yelling, get there quicker. He was telling the back line to step up quicker as well. So he clearly wants them a bit more switched on to condense the space that Adelaide currently have.
Adelaide thinking that was a foul, but play will continue. Punch to Healy. Watch how that battle goes. Taranto. Healy. Love to see Erin Healy's heat map at the moment. She's been absolutely everywhere in these different pockets for Adelaide, trying to generate something.
Yeah, that's great. You want someone with her quality on the ball a lot. What you don't want to compromise on is her being dragged out of a central area if there's an opportunity to get across into the box, because we know what a good finisher and a good goal scorer she is. So just have to be cautious that she's not getting pulled too far out of position, because that's where you want her. She's a great player. This could have been a foul, got her body in really well, but you want her in those dangerous areas so she can try and get onto something, across, make something happen, get that ball into the back of the net.
So that ball took a deflection off Alana Jancevski on her way out, so that's why it's an Adelaide throw-in. Healy, can she keep it in? Does, finds Hodgson, took a deflection through, so corner one.
And even in that situation, Vicure Hodgson out here, Healy had come out for the throw-in a little bit further out, and then Adelaide only had Chelsea Dorber in the central area. So got away with it, but as I say, really want Erin Healy. We need her involved in everything. Sorry, Adelaide need her involved in everything, but want her in central areas.
Paige Joyce, first corner of the day. High delivery, wide. Tonkin got a head to it, and a great save on the line by Newborn. That offside flag had gone, so it wouldn't have counted either way. It's a good ball from Zoyce to find Tonkin there.
Yeah, nice flat ball. Lovely header at the far post. It's like a little bit of a nudge from Hodgson there, but a great reaction save from Newborn, no matter what was happening.
Newborn. Murray came to attack the ball low. Bunge to Newborn. Molly Murray. The time in Victoria during the A-League Women's off-season with Box Hill alongside Brianna Policina as well for Victory. NPL Victoria champions. Getting regular starts here at Adelaide, and a player who's moved a lot throughout her young A-League women's career. Low. Beaten out by Taranto. Tolland. Taranto. Dorber. Hodgson. And too much on that pass. So it'll be a goal kick for Melbourne Victory.
Doing well down that left-hand side. Most of the attack for Adelaide with those little 1-2s, little triangles down in that left wide area.
So nice to see some Adelaide fans coming in. It is a double header this afternoon. It'll be men playing the regional derby after this one here, and that too strong, that pass. Jancevski. Polisina, back to Jancevski. Just resetting, so they're going to go with the right this time. Bunge. Furphy. Now Adelaide just starting to just creep up a little bit, apply a little bit more pressure. They let go with the long ball off the feet of Murray. Healy certainly took a knock off her hand.
Yeah, I was surprised at Jancevski when that ball came out on this left-hand side. Polisina was here as well, that she didn't want to keep progressing the ball further up, was happy. She didn't have any pressure on her from Adelaide to switch it back out and go and try and find some space on that right-hand side. Could potentially be something that Melbourne Victory have identified as a potential weakness or area that they could exploit on the right-hand side, but there was plenty of space in front of Jancevski to actually progress the ball forward down this left-hand side.
Hodgson knocked down, and it's too much in the challenge. Referee Isabella Mawson decides. Getting dragged back and then just sandwiched between the two. Just gone short and back to Zoyce. Healy, and it's coming through the back. It was Rihanna Polisina on Erin Healy.
Yeah, she did well there, Erin Healy. I wasn't sure. I don't think Paige Joyce probably needed to take that free kick. She could have actually pushed up and left it. But they decided to, they seem to be sitting quite deep rather than trying to push the ball a little bit forward. This back three, Zoe Toland as well, could have, in this situation, exactly what was probably 10 yards back. I think that's what they should have done last time, rather than Zoyce doing it, and Zoe Toland was about 10 yards behind her.
Toland goes centrally to Healy. It's a foot race now with Bunge, who's going to easily make it there first. Got Pickett and Ray in support. Goes longer and searching for Kennedy White, but ball didn't stay in play. Polisina. And it's a foot race, and Kennedy White wins out this time. Sakalis in the box as well. Searching for options, goes with Furphy. And that's a good delivery, and just over the head of Sakalis. Polisina, can she turn and go, and fouled by Healy. So a direct free kick right in front of goal.
Yeah, that was lovely play on that right-hand side. Kennedy White, Holly Furphy, who I've been impressed with this season. I think she's been really effective down that right-hand side, has come in on the left sometimes as well. Love this from Rihanna Polisina. Ball, edge of the 18-yard box. Probably could have played back and away, but thought, nope, there's a little gap there. I'm going to drive into that gap, try and make something happen. Drew the foul, and this is a fantastic position for the Victory to have a free kick.
And lots of options in terms of shot takers. Jancevski, goal of the season last year from a free kick. And she lines up over this ball. Polisina's making a walk away. It's a great range for Alana Jancevski. She'd get it over and get it to drop in time. Jancevski it is. Jancevski just way too high. Got the power, but just couldn't get it to drop.
Yeah, you can see what she was trying to do there. drive that ball for the angle that it was. She was just trying to drive that ball into the top corner. Didn't want to think about putting too much curl on it, too much whip on it. She just wanted it to be a bullet into there, just couldn't keep it low enough. But you could see what she was doing as she was lining it up.
This was great space, but Trancer just couldn't get it unstuck from her feet.
That's out, red ball.
It's going to stay with Adelaide. Tolland. Just working themselves into trouble, Adelaide. Polisina. Jancevski, and took its final touch off Jancevski on its way out.
Thea Tunis trying to encourage Aaron Healy and his players to come a little bit closer, try and stay connected in the play, not get too spread apart. I think that's super important for them today, making sure that they're always aware of the movement of their players, whether they're defending or staying nice and close, rather than being so spread out that the distances that you have to pass over become really a lot bigger and far more easier to intercept for the victory.
Newbon to Morrison. Over the top, and Tolland has to be alert with the movement of Sakalis, and was that time.
Come on, girls.
Oh, Forfy, come on now.
Let's go, Melbourne, let's go.
Jancevski. Well won back by Adelaide. Immediately looking for the attack. No numbers up ahead, so have to sit and defend once again. Pickett out wide to Furphy, up against Murray, and good defending from Holly Murray.
That's going to be the important thing as well, trying to find that outlet for Adelaide if they are camped in their half. But I mean, possession's been reasonably even for the first 25, 26 minutes per cure. I think both teams, the intensity was quite good to start with. We're just settled down a little bit now. Each team trying to find a bit more of their rhythm and momentum.
That was a great idea, just slightly too much on that pass. Seeing those long ball efforts from both teams, that's the first one that really looked to create a great opportunity.
It was a lovely vision from Jancevski. Rachel Lowe just trying to duck in behind. The great thing having Rachel Lowe just sat in behind as the number 10 behind Kennedy White. They can almost be interchangeable. So if Kennedy White drops off, then Rachel Lowe can make that forward run as she did there. It was a lovely vision from Jancevski.
Themselves in a little bit of trouble there, Claudia Bunge, as Laura Pickett comes and saves it. Pickett. Murray tried to get the jump on Furphy, and it's allowed her space to turn into, and just lack of patience there, it seemed.
Yeah, it's probably the second time I think Holly Furphy has gotten the better of Holly Murray, but has just rushed her final pass. I know what she's doing. She's trying to look for that little ball in behind for Kennedy White to run onto, but just take an extra touch. Just maintain possession first and foremost.
Healy to Dorber, back to Healy. It's a good build-up. Zoyce, she can tee up from long range. Deflection off Polisina. Healy brings it down this time. Erin Healy! And what a great save from Courtney Newbon. And that was the best piece of attack we've really seen from Adelaide all game.
That's the quality of Erin Healy. Kayla Morrison trying to get a nice high header. That composure to just bring the ball down on your chest. It was more of a half volley, let it bounce, just working on getting that connection and forcing Courtney Newbon into a very good save down to her left.
One to the task. Build on that bit of pressure. Zoyce over the ball once again. This one was not up to the task. I think she'd like that one back.
Yeah, a bit of a let off there for victory. Plenty of numbers in the box. It was almost player on player marking. Still push very high up the pitch, trying to win the ball, trying to put that pressure on Victory playing out.
Newborn under pressure from Alyssa Taranto. Sorry, Adriana Taranto, as this ball through to Holly Furphy, using her pace and too heavy with the touch. Jenkins never really in trouble.
Something Adelaide will have to be careful of. They've conceded a couple of goals this way just by a single ball from a goalkeeper through their centre backs. Holly Furphy, exactly the same thing. I thought Courtney Newborn had got herself into a little bit of trouble under pressure, but in the end, ended up being a great ball for Holly Furphy, but just a heavy touch.
Alyssa Taranto. Murray trying to find some space for Erin Healy to attack, and not enough space in the end. If you are just joining us, it's been an interesting opening 30 minutes of this game. It's been fairly even in terms of possession. It's a great chance for Melbourne Victory from a set piece. Kayla Morris just not able to redirect that header, and then a great strike from Erin Healy not too long ago, forcing a save wide by Courtney Newborn. So relatively even from both sides, but really yet to a real test. Furphy out wide. Defended by Hodgson, and Furphy teeing up, and that's practice stuff for Claudia Jenkins.
Yeah, again, Holly Furphy just, could be the right option. I think just a couple of her decision-makings, Holly Furphy. I think I would prefer her to maybe look for a bit of combination play out there. She's not known for scoring goals from distance. Had a little bit of time on her left foot, but maybe just trying to play a little 1-2 and then get around the back would have been a better option for me.
Taranto. And defended well by Alana Jancevski. That's why Hodgson's smart, getting out of the way, ensuring her side retain possession. Toland not able to get past Policina. And Furphy, seen her a few times, just able to turn away from whoever a direct opponent is. Now it's Kennedy White up against Tonkin. Needs some runners, and there's Furphy, right time, teeing it up and headed away by Holly Murray. Back out to Furphy. That's another good delivery. Kennedy White rose highest, but just couldn't redirect it.
That was a wonderful bit of transition play from Holly Furphy. Kennedy White down this right-hand side. Delivery of this first ball, must beat that first defender, but second ball in was a beautiful ball into the centre of the 6-yard box, and I think Kennedy White just mistimed her jump and couldn't get up and over the ball. Seen it go out for a goal kick, but some lovely build-up play and really lovely quick transition play from Melbourne Victory.
Alyssa Taranto. Good run. Dorber. Back out to Hodgson. Healy. Splitting pass. Can Hodgson get there first? She certainly does, and can't get it past Kayla Morrison. And Morrison just kicked it right back into Hodgson's path, and she certainly touched it with her hands, but I don't think the referee, Isabella Mawson, was able to see that.
Yeah, Kayla Morrison was determined to win that ball, wasn't she? It was a lovely switch of play here. Wonderful ball out to Hodgson. Kayla Morrison having to come out from her central area, read the ball well, and then just continued on trying to get that ball. I mean, she's such a wonderful leader for this Victory team. And I really liked her interview, her honest, transparent, brutally honest interview last week about how disappointed they were with that performance and also the result.
Zoyce. Healy. Quick touch. Adriana Taranto fighting her way through up against Taylor Ray. She's got to win out, and she does. They can't retain possession. Policina maybe took a knock to the face. Play will continue. Bunge. Healy, timely interception. Now Melissa Taranto. Zoyce. Tonkin back out to Toland. Dorba. And finally the whistle is blown. Mossa was getting a lot of attention from the Adelaide players.
Wasn't it? Just waiting to see. I think the referee did really well there, Isabella Mossa. Just waiting to see what the advantage was. Chelsea Dorba was a little bit isolated there, so didn't have too many options. So decided to bring the ball back, but it was much better patient build-up from Adelaide. I think they can grow in confidence from this, not rushing passes, just keep the ball moving across the pitch, trying to probe into those central areas. It was a nice bit of patient build-up.
Healy, clever. Isabella Hodgson. Curling ball, and Newbon tracked it the whole way.
Just keep hearing Jeff Hopkins saying, get closer, get closer. I think he wants his players to get more pressure on the ball. The Adelaide players probably standing off a little bit or not anticipating quickly enough to get there, so you're putting pressure as soon as they have that first touch.
He's in discussion with the assistant coach there, John O'Clemency, trying to figure something out. That ball was very... There was a lot of air in that throw in from Alana Jancevski. See if the second take is a little bit better than the first.
We must be in here.
Giving away cheap possession. Not what they're after. There's Lara Gooch. Off-season move from Newcastle. Such a quick, dynamic player. Fresh start here at Adelaide. Can we see her this afternoon? We'll have to wait and find out. But almost looked for a moment that Adriana Taranto had found her way through. Deflection.
The Victory players were straight onto it. Lovely little turn inside. I think it was pretty tough, actually.
Oh, obviously on the second look as well. It was like a might have hit her on the chest as well.
Yeah, I mean, Isabella Mawson had a better view than us. She was kind of facing straight onto it. Maybe saw that there was more of an advantage. Even if it had accidentally hit her arm on the way through.
Shallow pass from Holly Murray, but gets a second go at it. Toland. Isabel Hodgson. Healy. Morrison retreating. Finding space inside. Numbers everywhere as Morrison just kind of ran straight into Emily Hodgson.
A few dicey moments there. Kayla Morrison trying to just progress the ball. Got back in eventually. They were kind of battling in and around, and then eventually won the free kick.
Nobody would ever say that he's not battling.
Just interesting him again, Jancevski, and maybe it's something that Jeff doesn't want her to progress too much. But there's a couple of times where there's space in front of her where she could take that ball a little bit further, but her first option is to go back inside square to Policina.
Low with a great pass, and then cleared away by Ella Tonkin. And deflection off Pickett. Really
decent delivery, yeah. Decent delivery from Holly Furphy. I like a difference in delivery, keeping that ball. Again, Kennedy White was just coming a little bit later, but they're always dangerous balls to defend on the deck across that 6-yard box.
Jenkins. Zoyce. It's a good run forward. And high boot from Kayla Morrison, but won the ball Just before Adriana Taranto could come through. Bunge. Policina. The pressure from Zoyce immediately, and now out to Jancevski. And this is great link-up play. Space to attack. Numbers in the middle. Curling ball, and oh, it was that far post, and that was much better each that time.
Brilliant play. First and foremost, they went back out the other side. This finishes off with Policina, but Policina had 2-3 players around her. Just let that ball come across her body out to Jancevski, who then picked her out again. Some really, really attractive build-up play, and Policina just trying to flick it around away from the keeper with that right foot, and just couldn't quite get the ball in the right area, but some really great build-up play from Victory.
Absolutely is, and they're going to need more of that. This first half at times, it's like both sides, they're building, and there just stops. They're just that final third decision-making at times hasn't been there, but that was a lot better this time.
That's right, it's something to build on through half-time. I think there's plenty of space out there. I think the movement of the Victory players and from both teams has been good. It's just sometimes that final pass, trying to pick out a player, put it into the right area.
Murray's got to be careful. He was bouncing awkwardly.
Drop in. Oh!
Murray. Taranto. Picked off by Ray. Bunge. Too long. Picked off by Healy. Now she can get her head up. She'll see some numbers in support. Erin Healy with the strike, and what a save from Courtney Newbon. Victory getting themselves in a world of unnecessary trouble, and Erin Healy almost punishing them for it.
Well, Courtney Newbon did really well to get back into position because she was the one that gave that ball away in the first place. She was backtracking as quick as she can as Erin Healy cut back inside, got herself set into a great position, so was able to just touch that ball over the bar. But a lovely effort from Erin Healy.
Seeing how dangerous she can be when she finds those spaces to attack. A couple of big saves from Courtney Newbon in this game already. Zoyce, high, deep delivery, headed away. Sakalis will get there first. Clever footwork, but one back by Taranto. Still they fight, and it's going to be a goal kick this time.
Courtney Newbon here, just a loose pass, was trying to play it out to Claudia Bunge. Erin Healy, if she was able to get her head up, but she didn't quite have control of the ball because Courtney Newbon was backtracking. She was trying to stay facing forward as she was going backwards. Ended up just with that additional 1 or 2 touches from Erin Healy cutting back in, was able to get herself back into position. Thank goodness, because she really did put herself under pressure.
Really did, and it's weird to say because Healy got the shot on target and forced a really good save, but Adriana Taranto was just coming in as well, like right across from her. Could she have looked up? Who knows, but there's a lot of pressure building from Adelaide there. Dorba cutting across, Jancevski cutting it back the other way. So these defensive third moments for Melbourne Victory. Lots of players were very experienced. Sometimes they can just get themselves just a little bit discombobulated defensively in their structure. Tonkin needs to be mindful, and Jenkins coming out to clear it long. And a beautiful touch from Erin Healy to get it away from Morrison. Now she needs numbers to help her out. Driving. Yeah. Jancevski coming to support. That's a good cross. And sent back the other way. Jancevski. Towan able to get Past Kennedy White, and Zoe Tolan coming to have a few words with Kennedy White.
Yeah, nice little push in the back as well. Zoe Tolan not too happy. And a couple of really good passages of play for Adelaide. Erin Healy again, nice and positive. But she's put a great ball into the box. I'd just prefer her to be the one on the end of it. On the left-hand side, the play prior to that, Chelsea Dorber was on that left-hand side, and Erin Healy was kind of in between the penalty spot and the 18-yard box. It was a great ball across the 6-yard box, and there was just no one from Adelaide who was prepared to bust a gut to try and get onto that.
Golf shot into the box, and just really couldn't get to that time. And it's where you kind of miss Fiona Wirtz not being
Absolutely.
in this team. It's that combination that those two had when they were playing together, and then Dorber as well as a trio. They were really, really good, but they're just lacking her today.
It's really noticeable, isn't it? Because you want Erin Healy to be that creative player and to be able to pick the ball up and turn and drive at the opposition defence. But yeah, they just... Fiona Wirtz would be just patrolling around within the width of that 6-yard box, looking for those balls into the box. But it has been really positive from Adelaide.
Furphy. Kennedy White forced further out wide. Tonkin marshalling the area. And Holly Murray, as she's done a few times in this first half, had her body on the line and able to clear it before it gets any further in the box. Starting to see some more numbers fill into this ground, which is lovely to see. It is a double header this afternoon, right after the A-League women's players are on, the A-League men's, and Melbourne Victory, Adelaide United, same fixture. So one more minute added on this first 45, which has been lively at times. It's a frantic start from both teams to get us going. Settled in the middle, and now we've seen a few more chances from Adelaide. Paulsina, good touch to Kennedy White, who's had it trapped for a moment, but there's a free kick that's been awarded.
Yeah, it's been a pretty even half, hasn't it? Both teams have had some nice passages of build-up play, controlled the tempo as well. They've gone from slower tempo to that turnover possession, quick transition to create some opportunities. Both keepers have had to remain alert. There has been shots on target, and I think just missing that maybe piece of something just a little bit special at the moment. But I think both teams have really applied themselves well in this first 45 minutes.
Jenkins, a deep delivery, and Healy was the person she was after once again. But it's been an interesting first 45 minutes. Erin Healy has been the star for Adelaide when she's been able to get on the ball, had a few great chances, forced some good saves. Holly Furphy out on that right-hand side, causing a few issues for Holly Murray. See if Rachel Lowe can get involved just a little bit more in this second half. But there are options for both teams. There are lots of positives, but lots of things certainly to build on. Paige Joyce up against her former side here at Amy Park. But at the end of the first half, it's Melbourne Victory 0, Adelaide United 0. A couple of really great moments in this first half. Holly Furphy involved as well, and Pickett trying to find some numbers in the box.
It was a lovely ball into the box. It was a great strike from Paulsina outside the 18-yard box, forcing Claudia Jenkins into a very tidy save. Some really industrious work on the left-hand side from Hodgson, and Adelaide just couldn't quite pick out one of their players. This was probably the biggest chance for Melbourne early on. I think Kayla Morrison will look back on that quite frustrated. The ball was coming around away from her. Another great reaction save. Courtney Newbon here. Plenty of action in the first half, Picure. This was a great ball in, just couldn't find Sakalis, but so many positive things to build on.
It is, and you know, this strike from Erin Healy forcing another good save from Courtney Newbon, who's been very, very important for Melbourne Victory. And then Kennedy White rose highest, and they just couldn't redirect it. It's been an interesting half for their attacking options, and then Erin Healy with this incredible strike after Courtney Newbon gave possession away. And we look at these first half stats. As you mentioned, each relatively even in terms of possession.
The stats tell the story, and so does the scoreline. I think the good thing is both teams having those shots on target. 2 shots from 6 and 5. I think the intent of the shooting and the intent of the opportunities has been really positive, and I think, you know, it's all to play for in the second half.
It certainly is, and we'll be right back after this break. Well, long before Alana Jancevski became a key part of victory, she was in the stands wearing the navy blue, growing up just minutes away from the home of the Matildas. This community has always been close to her heart, and now she's a big part of theirs, especially after a recent visit to Findon Primary School.
So I made a recent visit to Findon Primary School where my mum has taught for over 20 years, and yeah, I did a bit of a Q&A with the grade 3-4s mixed together, and yeah, we did a Q&A for about 30 minutes and then I signed some of their stuff at school. So this is little comments that the kids made about my trip to the school. Today the 3-4s were lucky enough to see the most kindest soccer player in the world. Her name is Alana. She even has a cute dog named Charlie, so I'm glad they liked me bringing Charlie there. Her brother influenced her to play soccer, but she had to start in a boys' team. Alana is 22 years old and was born on March the 13th, 2003. That's fascinating, probably because I'm way older than her now. She loves Macedonian food, which is very true. Alana has won a Rising Star Award. The most goals Alana has scored in one game is 14, back when I was about 11 years old maybe. Be hard to do now. Alana likes pineapple on pizza and prefers dogs more than cats. It's very true. Also happy to see her and her dog. Alana played for the under-23s Matilda squad. Alana is very good at soccer because she won Goal of the Year.
It will be Jancevski with the direct shot. What a cracking goal! Alana Jancevski! And she's fired up after putting a rocket into the corner.
Don't get me started on how nice she is. Oh, that's very nice. Alana loves playing soccer. Alana has so many trophies, apparently. When you came to school, I was shocked I couldn't move. My heart was pounding and I had butterflies in my stomach. Everyone asked questions and it felt like a dream. It was the best moment of my life. Wow, it's very special. She recently got into the Matildas, the biggest team in Australia. Let's hope one day I become as good as her. That's very nice. She is a famous soccer player and wears the number 13. We like you sharing all your soccer journey. We asked her a bunch of questions and it was fun. We all had fun. Thank you, Alana. That's very sweet. Very nice that they took the time to write that. I just want to thank all the kids at Findon Primary School. I always love coming down and yeah, I hope I see you soon maybe on the soccer field. Yeah, I think I saw bits of my younger self, very energetic, very excited to see someone playing sport, obviously growing up wanting to be an athlete and seeing young kids there, excited to ask questions and have a bit of fun.
Right work, girl!
It was lovely to hear from Alana Jancevski, one of the bright stars in this competition. But it's been a bright start to round 7. Perth Glory beating the Wellington Phoenix. That was interesting. Wellington had a lot of possession, did a lot of great things, but Perth with a late goal to get them the 3 points. And the Newcastle Jets, 3 goals to defeat Brisbane Roar earlier today. That's really an impressive thing for the Jets. Melina Reyes getting on the score sheet. And 0-0 here between Melbourne Victory and Adelaide United. Canberra United taking on Melbourne Victory at 5:30, and then Western Sydney Wanderers closing it out, taking on the Central Coast Mariners 7 o'clock tomorrow night. And it's fantastic to see so many young kids out there, but we'll be back to see the second half between Melbourne Victory and Adelaide United.
1, 2, 3, best believe I got something up my sleeve. I'm a queen and I'm coming for my throne. Should've known your days were numbered. It's my turn, watch and learn.
Oh, I say it's incredible!
What a tournament that is going to be next year, the Women's Asian Cup. I am certainly going to be looking forward to it. I'll be in attendance. Ish, are you going to be in attendance?
Yeah, I'll be in attendance. I was there working in Chengdu in 2010 when the Matildas lifted the trophy. So I'm hoping to see the same again, Picure.
Absolutely. It's been a long trophy drought. Wouldn't it be fantastic to see them do it on home soil? But before that, it's the second half here at Amy Park between Melbourne Victory and Adelaide United. It was an interesting first 45 minutes. Both teams had their own individual spells, but it was relatively even for the most part.
Yeah, all the stats pointed to how even it was. The only thing missing was a goal. There were some decent chances, some good strikes on target, and plenty to build on for the second half. But by all accounts, I think both teams have bounced back well from their defeats last week, and I think are really applying themselves with some, you know, really nice controlled possession and some lovely passages of play.
Certainly, and you see this Adelaide United team, they've probably had a tougher start to the season. They've only won one game so far and lost two and drawn one. What's going to be the key for them to be successful in this second 45? We mentioned at the top of the broadcast there's no Fiona Wirtz. She's unavailable today. Emily Condon is on the bench, but there's still Chelsea Dorber, Erin Healy on the park for this team. What do they need to do in the second half?
I think same thing, don't concede and try and at least get a point from this match, especially after they have conceded 7 goals in 4 games, so that won't be a pretty statistic to look at. So I think first and foremost do that, and then just trying to take those opportunities.
And then for Melbourne Victory, it was lively. Holly Furphy, Kennedy White got on the ball a couple of times, but for the most part, we didn't see a lot of her on the ball. What do they need to do in this second half to kind of pick Adelaide apart?
I think they need to up the intensity a little bit. I think they allowed Adelaide to sometimes control the tempo. I think, again, they did have some really good passages of play. I'd really like to see Jancevski get a bit further forward on that left-hand side. I think she was quite conservative in the first half, but you've still got Kennedy White, who is the leading goal scorer, Rihanna Policina, who can make things happen.
We're underway in this second 45. Can either side break the deadlock? Had their moments, as Isha's mentioned, but it's more about consistency of building that pressure during this second half. Furphy. Straight back to Adelaide.
Feel the space! Feel the space!
Yeah, Jeff saying fill the space, so just trying to lock them in, keep them over this side and see how condensed they are. 2, 4, 6 Melbourne Victory players.
Zoyce, calm on the ball, able to find Toland.
Yeah, I think probably things like that is probably what would frustrate Jeff a little bit more.
Jenkins, just a little chip over the top. Pressure's being applied, and a lot of numbers there. 3 on 3. And then eventually Toland just goes down the line just to relieve some of that pressure. They've done well to keep it here and not immediately have a bounce back, Adelaide, but one pass through, and there was Taylor Ray. Kennedy White now.
Get in the box!
Out to Furphy. She's looking directly in the box, and Holly Murray stuck a boot out, able to deflect it away. Pickett. Tonkin able to head it clear. Taranto. Healy off the back heel. Policina. Furphy. Low in the box. Searching, and a header from Kennedy White. The first one in the first half was too high. This one lost all its pace once it hit the ground.
Furphy just cutting back in on her left foot. Free, no one on her, went over the head of Tonkins. And that's another big opportunity for Kennedy White. You could see she was trying to take the head up first time, but actually could have just brought that ball down and passed it into the back of the net.
Toland. Isabel Hodgson. Taranto. The two sisters made the move from Western United after the unfortunate circumstances. They've found a new home in Adelaide, and two really good, handy players to pick up if you're Adelaide. A lot of experience there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what you're going to get from the Taranto sisters. They have a good level of consistency. Fans in the crowd, Taranto time too.
I imagine there's a lot of family happy to see them after the Twins have, headed to South Australia. Originally from Victoria. Hodgson. Now Taranto now. Healy. Tonkin. And Ollie Murray just, for a second, just lost sight of it and fumbled the ball out of play. Smart touch from Zoyce. Emily Hodgson. Back to Zoyce, only able to poke it away and finds Holly Murray. Healy, maybe a little bit too clever in that moment.
Yeah, Healy just probably needed to either take a touch, just try and maybe play that ball with the inside of her foot, trying to flick it out around the corner. Just got up and underneath it, which slowed the ball down for Hodgson.
Healy, Hodgson.
See how vocal Jeff Hopkins is. Sorry, hear how vocal Jeff Hopkins is in the second half. Really urging his team. Close up the space, put some pressure, some high pressure on the player with the ball, especially if they're facing their own goal.
It's a physical battle, and Holly Murray won out, but then couldn't keep it in play. Tough afternoon. Holly Murray had to be alert as her and Furphy getting into it, and Furphy able to clear away and then defended well by Zoyce. And then the edge of the box, there is Rachel Lowe slotting it in. The seas parted and she found the ball in the back of the net. Finally, they get the reward, Melbourne victory for some of the pressure. Holly Furphy once again involved.
Great work on this right-hand side again from Holly Furphy. Murray just stumbling. I like that Furphy, was trying to pick out a teammate in the first instance and then had a little look up, saw Rachel Lowe on the edge of the box. Nice pass in, took the bobble out of the ball, which just allowed us to see Rachel Lowe's quality and composure to pass that ball into the back of the net.
Very calm finish from Rachel Lowe, her first goal of the season. I think if we get a chance to look at that again, it almost looked like Claudia Jenkins's path of the side of the ball was slightly blocked by her own teammate who was trying to defend another victory player who was coming across. So that's why it just looked so easy in the end.
Yeah, and it was great from Rachel Lowe just to pass the ball back the way it came from that side as Claudia Jenkins is trying to move her feet to set herself for a shot coming across goal. And it was just a wonderful finish, really lovely composure.
Furphy cutting it across. And late into the box was Sophia Sakalis. Just couldn't direct it, but dangerous. And this is the goal once again. And I think right there, I think it might be Emily Hodgson who's just trying to seal it, and then that's the chance from Sophia Sakalis that time.
Yeah, it was a wonderful finish from Lowe, but some of the delivery from Holly Furphy, left foot, right foot, has been really impressive. She really is giving Holly Murphy a tough time out on this right-hand side.
Now the question is for Adelaide, how do you keep your composure and you know, get yourself back into this game, but don't take too many risks necessarily as a team that sometimes can be defensively fragile?
Yeah, that's to try and work out, because now you're chasing the game. So now you actually do have to take risks. If you want to get a point out of it, then you have to start committing more players forward. You have to start putting more pressure on the opposition. You have to start trying to win the ball higher up the pitch.
Here, Sooners does have options on the bench. Got the likes of Lara Gooch. That's a lot of pace. So if you want to go for the ball over the top, Gooch is certainly an option there. And Emily Condon, who's been part of Adelaide for so long, that's another option coming in. Chelsea Dorber. Haven't seen too much of her, but we know she's the top goal scorer for this club. So.
And that's it. You've got Chelsea Dorber on this left-hand side. You don't want to leave her too isolated.
There's some of the Adelaide United men watching their female counterparts ahead of their double header against Melbourne Victory straight after this game. So lots of football action on this fantastic Saturday. A-League women's and A-League men's as well, and then continues the action tomorrow as well.
And I really like the double header idea when it's available to both leagues. I think especially when they're both the two teams playing, allows maybe.
That's good ball into the box. Healy, clever touch away and then deflected. There from goal. Furphy, so nimble, just able to just turn and contort her body to get past whoever her direct opponent is, trying to switch it out to low. Policina caught in the web of Adelaide United jerseys.
Just picking up from that point before that I was making, Picure, it actually allows maybe some fans of only the men's game to actually see what the women's product is. It should be the one club mentality. That's what we want. We want to try and convince people that this is an entertaining product, that the quality is good. And I think these double headers are a fantastic opportunity for that to happen.
Hodgson trying to work her way past Pickett, but using her strength, Laura Pickett. I've seen Holly Murray do that a few times, just taking that slight gamble, and that one ultimately cost her in the end for the Holly Furphy assist to low, but has to be really mindful and careful of when to kind of use that move. Tonkin. Healy, clever to Dorber. Oh, it's just too central. Healy, back to Dorber. Taranto. Tonkin. Heavy touch from Chelsea Dorber. Murray did well to evade her NPL Victoria teammate and Rihanna Policina, Box Hill. Haven't seen too much of Policina at times this afternoon. She's picked the ball up, but maybe not in the dangerous positions we're so often familiar with her being in.
Yeah, we want to see her get on the ball a bit more, don't we, Picure? I think also with Taylor Ray being more of a defence-minded player, seeing Rihanna Policina a little bit further up the pitch, but yeah, we haven't seen as much of her. I like it when she's constantly on the move, getting those nice little touches in, 1-2s, because she is such a creative player. Anywhere around that 18-yard box, you know she's a danger to try and get the ball out of her feet and take a shot on goal.
Healy attacking the space. Picking it up is Paige Joyce. Wouldn't she like to get a goal against her former side? Oh, she can hit them from long range. It's Taranto. Healy looking for some runners. Goes wide. Hodgson, numbers in the box if she can make the delivery good. Headed away. Sakalis backside, and Isabel Hodgson did well to just at least lock it here. They don't retain possession, but they're able to lock it in this defensive third of victories.
Yeah, Erin Healy, some great work on the edge of that 18-yard box again. Nice little dink into the near post from Hodgson, and just flicked on past everyone out to the other side.
And
I'm going to have to take the flag.
not sure what's going on. Some discussions.
Hold on, just wait. Yeah, I will.
Imagine something's going on in the headsets of the referees. Not quite sure what they're saying.
I was trying to listen intently. I think maybe this assistant referee, there's something about maybe she could take the flag. I'm not too sure.
Just, I'll manage for now. Just let me know.
Ah, maybe the assistant referee. No fourth official at the moment.
Healy.
Yeah, no fourth official to keep Jeff Hopkins in check, eh? On the sideline. Well, hopefully they're okay.
Absolutely. Hopefully he can get it sorted. So the offside official has taken the fourth official spot, so teamwork makes the dream work for the referees. They'll figure it out. Murray. Hodgson laying it off for Healy. Wants to tee up, goes for the pass instead, and cleared away. Sakalis. Policina. Ray. Good use of space from Victory. Furphy. And coming across to cover was Alatonkin.
Yeah, some nice little play. Rachel Lowe trying to get ahead of the ball, making a nice positive run into this channel on the right-hand side for Holly Furphy, just to try and tuck it into it. It was good recovery defending from Adelaide.
Pickett, Low. Pickett goes down the line, Low against Amelia Murray. That time is Emily Hodgson coming to help out. White. Healy. A poor pass picked off. Policina sets her eyes on goal. And just sailing too high in the end.
Well, a bit of a loose pass from Erin Healy in the centre of the park. Policina only had one thing on her mind, little touch out of her feet, had a quick look at Claudia Jenkins. Was trying to really strike that ball, drive through it, but just couldn't control it and keep it below the crossbar.
Jenkins. They're going long because I've had some issues going short at times. Allowed Victory that pressure, but it's immediately been won back by Melbourne Victory. Now Sakala's out in the wing, searching for those navy blue kits, and Claudia Jenkins able to reach it before Policina.
Well, it's one thing to try and relieve a little bit of pressure, and Claudia Jenkins has gone long again. It's another thing to try and win the first ball and the second ball, and I think that's where Adelaide aren't quite achieving what they're trying to at the moment with Claudia Jenkins playing the ball long. As you say, the possession, the number of Melbourne Victory players around the ball, they pick it up and then they just transition very quickly.
Yes, Claudia Bunge is down on the ground. She's saying she's okay, but I think just taking a slight breather, and I think a lot of the Melbourne Victory players were expecting there to be a kind of a break because they've all congregated to get some water, but take a look at this challenge again.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Maybe a little push in the back on Dorba, and Claudia Jenkins very in quick succession trying to play that ball forward. I think what Adelaide do need to do if they want to continue employing that tactic, they need to squeeze up a lot quicker, press and close the space, get their back line further, closer towards the halfway, so they've got more numbers around the ball.
Beautiful switch of play from Healy. Saw the run of Isabel Hodgson. Healy centrally with a little bit of space if they could have found the ball to her. Now out wide, Adriana Taranto. Couldn't get past Kayla Morrison, who just sends it long. Will come back through Zoe Toland. Jenkins to Murray. Heavy touch from Hodgson, and Victory seize on that and regain possession.
They're doing well, just waiting for the opportunity as that ball switches aside, just anticipating, just kind of standing off the Adelaide players, and as soon as that ball starts travelling, then they're on their first touch with Jeff, urging them on to get nice and tight.
Healy with a long ball over the top, just too much on it. It's Chelsea Torber just tries to spark something and annoy and harass Courtney Newbon.
Just stay just far enough away, but just to give her something to think about. And to be honest, I don't think Courtney Newbon made the best connection with that, so well done by Chelsea Torber just to put her off slightly.
Gotta try what you gotta try.
Try and gain any advantage, absolutely. Especially 1-0 down, they need something to happen. Put her under some pressure. Maybe then she's got too much of you to think about rather than making a connection with the ball.
And it looks like Adelaide United are going to make a substitution. I believe it's going to be Amelia Macris coming on. We've known her for a long time. This competition is Amelia Murray. Changed her last name. A talented player. Spent last season at Melbourne City. Was out with injury at times, and then also just couldn't find her way into a really stacked Melbourne City team. So gone back home to the club where it all started. Wait. Now back to Pickett. Furphy. Healy to Dorber. And the player down. Hodgson. And Victory able to win it back. Bunge took a deflection off the red shirt. Tonkin. Haven't given Kennedy White too many opportunities in this game. We've been kind of left to those headers, those two big headers that she's had in this game, but during the general field movement of play, it hasn't been too many.
She still makes some great runs and constantly makes a run to the near post. Whenever Holly Furphy is down on that right-hand side, she's been very, very close to getting something on it. You know, she's doing all the right things. I like the fact, I feel like Kennedy White's more of a finisher. Not necessarily, may create things if it's a ball over the top, using her pace and her directness, but you know, delivery's been good. The only thing missing has just been that finish.
So it is Adriana Taranto who's going to come off the field of play for Amelia Macris coming on. So it's relatively similar. Macris is a very attacking-minded player, so looking for somebody who can spark something. She's a player who's certainly capable of that. White took a clip of the heels by Ella Tonkin.
And this is in a really interesting position. The sun, Claudia Jenkins, the sun just coming into Amy Park might be a bit of a concern. See just a little touch on Kennedy White. Claudia Jenkins, it's at an odd angle.
So you're looking at that far post area where the light and the shade just kind of intersect there.
Absolutely. Depending on where Claudia Jenkins wants to set herself up, that area, that big bright area towards, yeah, she's got her arm up trying to shield her eyes from the sun. So I would be putting it anywhere near that far post area in the 6-yard box with plenty of pace.
Be the left boot of Jancevski or the right of Policina. Looks like Policina is going to be the one to set it up to curl it into the space. That's what she does. It's into that light that you're talking about, and Jenkins had to come out to palm it away.
I'm still surprised by Policina taking that in towards the goalkeeper. There was such a huge distance from the Adelaide wall to their first defender. You could literally, Jancevski could have just drilled that ball almost like a pass, a diagonal pass towards that far post on the deck for the Victory players to run onto. So I am surprised by that decision.
Polisina. Deep delivery and headed away by Ella Tonkin, who just got her back straight onto the post as well, in a little bit of pain, but able to clear the danger.
That was lovely delivery. Up, cleared everyone to that back post. Needed to have a touch on that, Ella Tonkin. I think she did really well. Jenkins had come for it. Maybe a slight little touch. Again, from this side, in swinging from Jancevski. Sun in the eyes. You're trying to get it right on top of Claudia Jenkins.
Kayla Morrison was lurking as well, that far post, and she's always the target. Jancevski punched away by Jenkins. The numbers on the edge of the box, Victory. Low, bunch, and couldn't get it past Dorba. And getting back to Victory.
It's a really awkward angle, but Claudia Jenkins read it really well. Wasn't taking any chances there. Rather than trying to catch that ball in a busy 6-yard box with the sun in her eyes, just punched it out and away. It was good goalkeeping from Jenkins.
Morrison. Alana very deep, trying to build from the back. Morrison over the top, looking for the run of Sakalis. Using the space. Polisina just nudged off the ball. Well, that time by Melissa Taranto. Turning and turning and finding Macris on that right-hand side. Zoyce. Almost the way of Murray. Healy immediately swarmed that pressure. Timely with it, Melbourne Victory. And winning a free kick there as well this time.
And Healy just trying to turn into feet and try and win the ball back. Late, a fatigued challenge there on Holly Furphy. Good time to get some more fresh legs on for Victory.
So as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Taylor Ray's first ever start for Melbourne Victory this season. So Rosie Curtis now comes on. Imagine probably do just a similar role, just sit in front of that back four.
Yeah, like for like swap for the Victory. It'll be interesting to see if we see the likes of Ella O'Grady, maybe a bit more of an injection of pace, some fresh legs in a more of attacking sense. Got 20 minutes to go in this match. Adelaide the ones that are chasing the game, so interesting to see what Theodosiunas does for the last 20, who he brings on, how he tries to change it.
No wonder Isha's Kennedy White just knocks this for Furphy. Always looking to cut across and worked its way through a few, and then Pickett trying to retain the pressure, and Holly Furphy with a good chunk of Melissa Taranto's jersey to drag her back. But if you take a look at this,
It was pretty obvious there, wasn't it? Holly Furphy, nice little tug of the
disguise
jersey.
it,
Yeah,
gotta disguise, or at least wear red gloves so you can't even see.
That's it. It was pretty obvious foul. Just was able to break up that transition, that counter attack from Adelaide.
Dorba. Tolland. So you look at this each now, it's about 18 minutes left of regulation time in this game, and it's for Adelaide, they're in a phase where they need to be aggressive but also measured. But what can they do to spark that kind of energy? Because it just feels like they're in a bit of a lull and they're really struggling to create at the moment.
I think it's probably just a little bit of fatigue setting in as well for Cure. I think Erin Healy has gotten through a mountain of work. She really is the focal point for this team. I think Chelsea Dorber's done very well too. But probably just now is the time to have a look at your bench and say, right, how can we shake things up a bit here? We may as well go for it. Depending on what your level of risk is, do you wait the last 18 minutes and go, right, let's do it, or do you wait until about the last 10 minutes? It's that fine balance of getting someone on and getting them into the game, and how much risk you're willing to take. But I think Erin Healy, even the challenge previously, a little bit of signs of fatigue now, so needs something around her, someone around her with a bit more energy.
And it's different in this game as opposed to last year, where so often maybe Fiona Wirtz or Chelsea Dorber didn't necessarily start the game and they were battling injury, but they would be an option coming off the bench. Now, Dorber's started this game and she's certainly worked really hard in this game. There's no Fiona Wirtz to come on and just kind of inject that spark. So obviously they brought on Macris to come on as a forward option, but Emily Condon's still on the bench. Lara Gooch, if you want to change things up really and just kind of use her pace to throw a little bit of chaos, but they need to find something and they're running out of time.
Yeah, and these are all the things as a coach that you're thinking of at the sideline. Trying to analyse what's going to be best for the team. Are you trying to maintain that consistency of play with the players? I think we've changed the names of players coming on now. They're not substitutes, they're finishers or they're game changers. And that's absolutely what you need at this point of the game. You need to look at your bench and say, right, what is going to affect the opposition for us to create more opportunities, to get an opportunity to spark a bit of intensity and life into the last 15, 16 minutes of this match.
Kennedy White doing a lot to try and beat the two shirts of Adelaide. Pickett, Furphy, and Murray able to clear it out. And we just saw a sight of Nikki Flannery on the bench. We'll see if she's able to come on before play resumes here, but Flannery hasn't been seen since the grand final last year. Melbourne Victory taking on the Central Coast Mariners. So looking to make her season debut as Policina makes her way through the box, gets it back, and still not clearing the danger, Adelaide, and eventually going out for a corner. So Nikki Flannery, that's a spark that you want if you're Melbourne Victory.
Absolutely. Great to see her back in the match day squad as well after such a long layoff. And good for her to get some minutes, try and put a little bit more pressure on Adelaide in these latter stages of the game where there is a little bit of fatigue setting in.
Yeah, Jancevski. High and deep, and numbers there. Almost to the edge of the box, and eventually cleared this time. Rachel Lowe's shot just wide.
See what Jancevski's trying to do every time there. Just get that back to the far post. Kayla Morrison always patrolling that far post. The sun in the eyes as well of Claudia Jenkins.
Do you want to do yours?
So it's Sophia Sakalas coming off. Spending time in the wing today. Nikki Flannery coming on. So like-for-like substitute. It's fantastic to have Flannery back playing. And going to be a couple of changes here for Adelaide United as well. Paige Joyce is going to come on. We're going to see Karina Rossi come on, the young striker from Victoria. So that is an attacking change from Thea Kasunas. We're also going to see Isabel Hodgson come off for Lara Gooch, so bringing on some pace as well. There's one more change, and it's going to be Isabel Hodgson is off, and for the confirmation of who that third player is, Sian Dewey is coming on as well.
Well, we spoke about making changes, Pecure, and he's definitely showed that intention to get some fresh legs on, 3 changes at once.
What can that do for a side? I imagine you want that instant impact, but does it have the capability of also disrupting your side, or do you need disruption in a moment like this?
I actually think you need the disruption. I think there's not necessarily a great deal of momentum with Adelaide at the moment, so I think you may as well just get as many fresh legs on as possible and get them to run their hearts out for the last 10 minutes, put lots of pressure on Melbourne Victory and just try and harass, break up play, get turnovers of possession, and up the levels of energy for this last portion of the game.
Certainly, and Chelsea Dorber was also that player taken off. So Dewey, Rossi and Gooch on, and Healy with the strike, trying to curl it. Just couldn't get enough bend on it.
Lovely again, Erin Healy always wants to come in, even not with too much space, to just try and curl that ball out and around. It was a decent effort defensively. Melbourne Victory had it covered. But this is the time, just to your point, when you're bringing on fresh legs, you need those players to start doing all the running for a player like Erin Healy and getting her into positions where she can either take that strike on goal, but where she's not having to take herself out of those central areas as much as she has been previously.
And offside flag just going up. That spark and immediate response there at the Sooners from this Adelaide team. It's somebody, just a driving run, something just to inject some energy. Jenkins. Shots are relatively similar, but Victory leading it as Healy almost getting into the path of Gooch, and just a really big, strong challenge there. Both players up on their feet, but it's a little bit chaotic at the moment, and referee Isabella Mawson letting play continue. Marcus. Low. Tonkin able to play it out back to Holland.
Yeah, Jeff Hopkins wants his defensive line to just to sit a little bit deeper. Obviously knows that Claudia Jenkins, every time she gets that ball, she is looking for route number one, direct, straight down the middle.
Dewey. Rossi. She's really young, but can be so dangerous in the box, and look at that challenge again. Oof.
Yeah, it was good commitment, wasn't it, from both players.
Pickett and Hodgson. Furphy. Switch sides. Seen on the right for the majority of this game. Cutting it through, and there's Nikki Flannery. I think maybe she was surprised at how much space she ended up having in time.
Yeah, Nikki Flannery, just a little smile there, acknowledgement probably that she had a bit more time, probably could have done a bit more with it. She was trying to set herself, but I think just didn't quite understand her positioning within the width of the goals. Was trying to just guide it back into that post towards where the ball came from, but got it all wrong.
So they would probably like that back again, but immediately winning possession, doing the defensive work. Pickett leaves it for Bunge. Goes down the line, headed back by Murray. Taranto. Macris. Rossi. Good strong run for Karina Rossi. She's not afraid to just pick up possession and go. And referee, just Daphne Gunaris signaling the other way, and I think it might be a debut also for Daphne Gunaris, the lineswoman in this fixture, regular in the MPL Victoria competition as well. So saw her taking photos before with the kit, so
love that.
Must be a very happy occasion for her as well.
It's a nice venue to have a debut at as well.
Not bad at all.
Amy Park, one of
Sun
the great
shining.
stadiums. One of the great stadiums for football, Amy Park. Holds in the sound really well, nice and contained.
Flannery. Coming deep to collect. just can take their time. Don't have to really force anything, Melbourne Victory. Happy to let this game just sit in this kind of space of back and forth and no real threats from Adelaide.
Yeah, it's just kind of hit a little bit of a lull, hasn't it? Even with some of those changes. Theatsunas is trying to will his team on. Got to get the energy levels up.
I just haven't been able to find the likes of Gooch or I've found Rossi a couple of times on their right-hand side, but they've really struggled just to find in those players. As Kennedy White trying to find space in the box for herself. Furphy to the line and took a deflection on the way through. Didn't hit a hand. Certainly the crowd thinks so. Wilson says no, thank you.
It's good defending from Tolan. Stuck with Furphy on that left-hand side.
Healy. Macris. Rossi. Back to Healy. Did well to shield the ball, but pass came too quick. Dewey. Flannery. Just taking their time, taking the sting out of the game. A turn from Bunge. New Zealand international.
Yep, just happy to keep soaking up time. That's the thing. As long as you've got possession, you're in the ascendancy, 1-0 up. Keeping that ball away from Adelaide. Staying conservative, keeping safe, making the right decisions. Not really taking too many risks, then they could easily see this game out.
Melbourne Victory win this afternoon. They'll extend their win streak to 7 games on the go against Adelaide, and some of those games have been in the finals as well, but really dominant throughout this fixture, and particularly at home. As I mentioned at the very, very start of this broadcast, last time Adelaide United won this fixture away from home was all the way back in 2015. A 4-0 Adelaide United win, so it's been a long time since they've come to Victoria and claimed the 3 points.
It's a long time, isn't it? And we spoke about the frustration with some of the inconsistency of Melbourne Victory, especially from Jeff post-match last week, Kayla Morrison, because they have been such a consistent force in the A-League Women's for so long. They're always up in the top 4. They're always in the final series. So when that performance and the results dip a little bit, that's when Jeff and the team and Kayla and the rest of the team get quite frustrated, because they do have those high expectations of themselves.
I've got a quiz question. We'll come back to it for you, Ish, as that ball's played easily for Courtney Newborn. Now, in this fixture, there are only 2 players from the last time Adelaide won back in Victoria who are currently playing in the A-League. Now, I'll give you a hint. One of the players still plays for Adelaide United. The other player was playing for Melbourne Victory. She doesn't play for Victory anymore, but she is still in the league. There's only 2 players since 2015 from that fixture who are in the competition. Who are they? Give you some time to think about it as Nikki Flannery cuts it into the box. Defended well by Toland. And Ella Tonkin. Spark something, Adelaide. Got an answer, Ish?
I'm trying to watch the game and think at the same time. I can't multitask that well.
I'll give you the answer. So it's Emily Condon, obviously, the youngest player to play for Adelaide. So she's been at Adelaide for a long time, and playing for Melbourne Victory in goals that day was Melissa Barbieri from Melbourne City's backup goalkeeper. So it's been a long time for Adelaide. There's Gooch.
It's been a long time in the league for Bubs as well. She's still going strong.
Absolutely, and assistant coach and a goalkeeper as well. She does it all.
That's it. I don't know how her body continues on with it. It was a good ball into the near post by Nikki Flannery.
She's playing as well. Bubs was playing in their Asian Cup games when Victory were in Asia in goals a couple of times. So.
Yeah, 2006, yeah. 2010 as well.
Jancevski just hit it into space and just taking more time off, not allowing Adelaide to build anything at all. So about just under 3 minutes left of regular time. There'll be 3 minutes added on. So not a lot of time for Adelaide. Only being a goal down, you take a point with the way this game has gone if you're Adelaide, but just have to create one great opportunity. Is a strong push-shove there from Aaron Policina and Aaron Healy.
Yeah, I think the probably the concern, though, is Picura that they haven't created too many chances in the second portion of this second half. So, sure, they've been trying to play those long balls, but I feel like Victory are pretty comfortable in this scenario at the moment. They can just slow the tempo down, try and keep possession of the ball. Don't need to be too ambitious going forward, which makes it really challenging for Adelaide to come up with solutions to the problem that is them being 1 goal down.
Morrison trying to hit it over the top. Too much pace on it. Do you think she'd be a little bit more pleased with her side's performance, considering how she was feeling after last week?
I think absolutely. Definitely wasn't happy with the performance or the result last week. And I mean, I love watching Kayla Morrison. She's such a leader. She's such a competitor. She wants to win. She's such a driving force in this team. So to hear her and how disappointed and frustrated she was with her team's performance and their application on the day. I mean, she did also mention a couple of things about training as well. So I think probably a bit of reflection from all the players in the team.
That ball across and Newbon calmly in collection. Flannery. Rid of Holly Murray. Furphy low in the box, but dragged very wide, and clever from Furphy. They've managed the game well for the most part, Melbourne Victory.
Yeah, Jeff then say keep the ball in the corner there. Holly Furphy turning back out. He's just trying to soak up as many seconds as possible, as far away from their own goal as possible.
It's dangerous for Morrison. Bunch did well to deceive Gooch. Taranto. Turning, shooting, and wide is Macris.
And it's things like that that would absolutely do Jeff's head in. From coming down on this right-hand side with Furphy, he was just asking her to protect the ball, keep it in the corner. They came back out. There was a few other different decision-makings. Kayla Morrison trying to play out from deep, and then Adelaide end up getting a shot on goal. They're the things that can cost you this late in the game. That decision-making is so important. You spoke about that game management, and that's what Jeff was trying to urge him to do. It's a frustrating tactic, but it's a valid tactic. Get that ball in the corner, waste some time, see out the game and get the 3 points.
Need those 3 points. Melbourne Victory, very up and down. They win one, they lose one. It's 3 wins, 3 losses. An even start. Feels like a season where it's whichever team can find the most consistent amount of momentum will do the best in this campaign, because we've seen all these teams have kind of ups and downs throughout this entire competition. As Sienna Teixeira is going to come on in these final moments, as Holly Furphy has put in a shift all afternoon, comes off.
And just another tactic to soak up a few seconds. But I think to your point as well, Picura, not just that consistency, but I think the depth of your squad and how lucky or unlucky you are with people's availability. Adelaide have been depleted. Fiona Wirtz going to her twins' wedding, fair enough. There's some sickness that's been around. So that has a huge impact on being able to maintain that consistency as well. And I think we see that a lot, even with Brisbane Roar earlier on today. You know, you take out one player like Tamiki Yallop, who's such a focal point and a leader in that team, and it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely, and obviously can't underestimate, you know, having a bug go out around through this Adelaide group this week, how much it could have affected them. You think of just the fact they got to travel and then, you know, got to train, and then you spoke about how Aaron Healy was even looking fatigued that in that first half, and so it can really affect you. So unfortunate as Flannery comes in over the top on the edge of the box. Policina, she has sights on goal, and wide it goes. to those long-range efforts around Apollicina.
Just trying to control that volley as it dropped down, but just took it quite early. Really no danger whatsoever for Claudia Jenkins. You'd have to think with 30 seconds to go, this game is all over and 3 points go to the victory.
Flannery. Numbers there. Now Healy able to turn away. Not much time left in this game. To the discretion of referee Isabella Mawson. Murray. Taranto needs to move this ball quicker and forward, and that ball caught between Teixeira and Toland. It looks like they're going to certainly run out of time. Toland frustrated, I think, with that pass. Just put her in a lot of trouble for no reason. And that's the final whistle here at Amy Park. It's been a difficult afternoon for Adelaide United, really struggled to create, but for Melbourne victory, a goal from Rachel Lowe in the 49th minute. It's them 1-0 winners in the end. It's the kind of performance they needed after a disappointing week last week against Canberra United. Better performance. He's certainly going to be a lot happier, Jeff Hopkins, after that. Alan Tonkin disappointed. His two coaches, things to take away, and hopefully with the return of Fiona Wirtz maybe next week for Adelaide United, will be a little bit more of a bounce back. They've really struggled. At Amy Park finishes Melbourne victory 1, Adelaide United 0. Isha, this game for Melbourne victory, really standout performances from the likes of Holly Furphy. Combining really well Rachel Lowe with the goal. Certainly a lot happier after this game.
Yeah, much happier. Still plenty of things to work on. I think it was a fair assessment of the game to see the scoreline of 1-0. Both teams created some decent stuff, but really on reflection, it was a pretty even game for both teams performance-wise. Just maybe Fiona Wirtz missing from Adelaide United. Really having that focal point up front is absolutely crucial for any of these teams in the league, and relying not only on one player to score all your goals. And I think Melbourne victory, seeing Rachel Lowe pop up, now Kennedy White scoring goals, Rachel Lowe scoring goals, and I think it was a great performance from Holly Furphy as well in that wide area.
And they took advantage of the opportunity when they had it there, Melbourne victory. But it was the same players popping up all the time in those key moments.
Yeah, we see a lot from Holly Furphy, delivery in those wide areas. This was a lovely early strike that from Rihanna Pollicina to get Claudia Jenkins to save. I think that was a huge opportunity for Kayla Morrison. I think she won't enjoy watching that back. It was a lovely ball into the far post. Great reaction save there from Courtney Newbon. So there was plenty going on for both teams. Both teams were creating chances. This quality strike, a volley from Erin Healy. She really was the standout player for Adelaide United. And Holly Furphy, I think, just gets herself into great areas in wide positions and can deliver the ball with both feet. Kennedy White not quite being able to control that last header. And this opportunity for Erin Healy, Courtney Newmont did get herself into trouble giving that ball away, but made up for it with that save.
Absolutely. It looked like Adelaide had some great chances in the first half, but they all just seemed to dry up in the second half. It was all really Melbourne victory.
Yeah, that was the issue, wasn't it? How they were creating chances. But again, Holly Furphy had one shot, had one go at crossing the ball in, and the second time had a look at where Rachel Lowe was for a wonderful finish. Kennedy White making great runs to the near post every single time. But Adelaide was still trying. They were still industrious. They got this good ball in. It was good defending from the victory. But Erin Healy really was the standout. She's such a quality player. She covers so much ground, but needs a bit more support around her to take a bit of that pressure off.
Absolutely. They had it working last season. Can they figure it out, Adelaide United, to get their season on track and move themselves up the ladder? Jeff Hopkins is certainly a very, very happy man, but somebody who's also very happy, the goal scorer this afternoon, Rachel Lowe from Melbourne Victory. Rachel, how does it feel to get on the score sheet this afternoon?
Yeah, it's obviously nice. I've been kind of waiting for the opportunity to take that, and yeah, obviously nice to finish and get a win, so happy.
Rachel, Ish Ferguson here. Jeff was pretty cranky after the game last week. So was Kayla, about performance and also results. So what do you think improved this week, and what are you going to take out of it?
Yeah, I think we were very disappointed to lose against Canberra. I think we just lacked like a bit of fight, and we lost a lot of second balls. So I think we just kind of had to really kind of rip into ourselves and, yeah, kind of do the hard stuff in the game, and we know we can play football this year, but getting kind of the nitty-gritty stuff was something that we were lacking, and I think we brought a bit more of that today, so it's good.
And Adelaide, look, it's Ish again. Adelaide put up a good fight as well. There was pretty even possession stats in the game, Rach. So how are you going to take into that intensity going into the next game? You're creating chances, but maybe need to finish off a few more of those chances.
Yeah, I think in the first half we didn't really dominate possession at all, and it definitely opened up in the second half. But I think, yeah, as a team we want to dominate more and keep the ball for longer, because I'm gassed. Like, we were just running a lot to win the second balls. Like, it was a lot of long balls and transition. So, yeah, just like dominating possession and being more patient, I think will let us kind of create chances that are easier for us to take, not just kind of counter attacks, which take a lot out of the legs, to be honest. Yeah.
Look, I've been really impressed with Holly Furphy as well this season, Rach. Like, her ability down that right-hand side, when she even gets on the left-hand side, her delivery of crosses with her right and left foot have been exceptional, and you were the benefactor for that, the beneficiary for that today. Just tell me what she brings to the team.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of my close friends. Like, I love playing with her. She's aggressive. She uses her body super well. Like, sometimes I don't know how she gets out of situations with the ball, but yeah, she's silky on the wing, and she works super hard. Like, every game, she's one of the top distance coverers. So yeah, I think she's such a great addition, and yeah, the more she gets crosses in the box, I think the more we're going to score. So yeah.
Well, good luck as the season progresses. Rachel, congratulations again, get on the score sheet, and enjoy the rest of the recovery, because honestly, all the running you guys do could never be me.
Yeah. Cheers, thank you.
And Holly Furphy, so you heard it from Rachel Lowe herself, such an impressive player, covers so much distance, but so good at finding teammates when she's on the wing.
Yeah, she's a quality player. And again, it's the delivery and the variety of delivery from Holly Furphy that I've been impressed with. Her right foot, she'll cut back in on her left foot, she'll drive the ball into the near post, she'll try and find that space in the middle of the 6-yard box, dinking the ball in here just over Sakalis's head. And again, her work rate, interesting to hear, like Rachel just saying how gassed they were from today. And I think that brought in the lack of intensity towards the end in the second half as well. But I think the quality of delivery and vision of Holly Furphy, especially playing that ball to Rachel Lowe, has been exceptional.
And she's only going to continue to get better. It's just good to see her in this competition. But you look at these stats, it's interesting that Adelaide ended up having more possession. It speaks to Rachel Lowe being so fatigued at the end.
Absolutely. I think Adelaide was so close. They were so close. They were creating opportunities, I think, in the second half. Just a little bit of fatigue came in, but, you know, 14 shots to 9 and only 4 on target from Melbourne Victory to Adelaide United. So they're close. They're close, and they just need something to drop for them.
Well, imagine a player who can feel the side starting to try and build some momentum, but just not there at the moment. Erin Healy from Adelaide United. Erin, a frustrating afternoon where it looked like you guys were creating, but you just couldn't find that answer.
Yeah, exactly that. It's a bit frustrating. We got to keep our heads up for the next game. Luckily, it's on Wednesday, but definitely a frustrating loss.
Erin, it's Ish Ferguson here. I love your mobility and work rate on the pitch,
Thank
but
you.
sometimes I feel like I want to see you more central and you get dragged out into those wide areas. How does it feel? You need someone else around you, maybe the Fiona Wirtz in front of you, to try and take a bit of that pressure off.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we're still struggling to get that final third piece, and maybe that's Fiona, maybe that's just us not being able to connect this early in season, but I feel myself drawing out wide as well, and I want to stay more central, but
yeah,
I just catch
see
myself out wide.
Yeah, I want to see you more central. I kept saying it in commentary, but you've got so much quality and creativity, but getting you in those goal-scoring zones, I think, is so crucial for the success of Adelaide.
Thank you.
I wonder from you, Erin, you know, what is it like? It's been limited the amount of time that you, Chelsea and Fiona have got to play together. Last season we saw it a few times, but it almost felt like every time you were starting to build 1 or 2 games, somebody would be unavailable. Are you guys building that connection during training, or do you think that's the final piece to unlock the attacking side of this team?
Yeah, I'm hoping that is the final piece. We haven't had that much time in training to find those connections between us three, but even last season we were so close for this to just be perfect, and we just never got that chance. So hopefully this season we'll get them healthy, stay healthy, and we'll see us connect way better and find some goals.
Well, good luck. I hope you guys can find the back of the net soon, but it's fantastic and it's always lovely to watch you play, Erin.
Thank you so much.
It's a fantastic player Erin Healy has been to this competition, but it's been a fantastic round so far. Perth Glory with a late goal to get the win over the Wellington Phoenix. Newcastle Jets 3 goals against the Brisbane Roar. They'll certainly be pleased in Newcastle. And Melbourne Victory finishing Adelaide United off with a 1-goal win after Rachel Lowe put it in there. And then Canberra United against Melbourne City. Canberra United beat Melbourne Victory last week. 2 goals up against Melbourne City East. That's pretty impressive.
They're on a great winning streak at the moment and putting the goals away, and it's fantastic to see. I like when the competition gets shaken up, and Canberra United on top of the table is great to see.
They are firing, and Melbourne City were a little bit lucky last week to get the win, so Canberra United in form, and then finishing out Western Sydney Wanderers taking on the Central Coast Mariners. So this is the ladder as it looks right now. Melbourne Victory moving to the top after that win on 12 points. Canberra United, if they can keep it going, if they win this afternoon, they'll go to 13 points. And then looking at the bottom, there's Adelaide United, only 4 points so far in this competition, and Western Sydney Wanderers bottom there. Melbourne City, they know those 3 points, but it's still, as I mentioned, very early in this season, but we're starting to see the ladder just form here in the Ninja A-League.
Yep, it's all to play for. A lot of movement in there. Exciting times ahead.
It is exciting. And Ish, thank you so very much for joining me in the booth. And I've been Pure Frimpong. As always, keep watching and keep enjoying the Ninja A-League.